Hi, I'm Stuart. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for viewing my video. In this video, I'm going to do the I'll get around to it later tag. I was tagged by Pat at Book Chat with Pat, Suey at Suey's Book Banter, and Reney at Beyond Books. Thanks to the three of you for tagging me. I'm going to repeat what they said just to properly credit the creator of this tag. I was tagged by @Jess Book Girl TV originally, and I have also been tagged by Meg Purdue at Books Off the Beaten Path. Thank you, Jess and Meg, for the tag. This tag was created by book blogger, quote unquote, at https://lbrunnerauthor.wordpress, and Jess saw it on Joe Lindell's channel. There are 8 prompts to this tag. The first prompt is a classic book that you've been meaning to read forever but haven't read yet. One book that comes to mind is Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. I did read around 100 pages of it a few years back. I just stopped, not because I wasn't liking it, but I just stopped. Would like to get back to that. Partly it came back on my radar because Pat at Book Chat with Pat, A668, read it not too long ago, and she's actually going to reread it, which is quite impressive considering how long a book it is. So that's the one that comes to mind. No plans immediately though for when I'll read it. The second prompt is a book on your shelf you haven't read yet. There is so many books, literally hundreds of books between physical books and ebooks, that are on my physical shelves and digital shelves. And 2 books that I have been on my shelf for a bit and that I haven't read yet are Bunny by Mona Awad, which I have as a Nook book, and Bride by Ali Hazelwood, which, as you can see, is a physical book. So those are 2. So those are just two of the books. As I said, those are just 2 of the many books that I have that I haven't read yet. Got away a little bit from my mood reading, and I'm getting back to it, so I am going to read those 2 books fairly soon. No really reason I can think of for thinking that really I want to read these books, and I just don't read them. So I will read them soon. The third prompt is a book that you recently got you haven't read yet. I'm going to just show 3 recent ones I got that I haven't read yet. First is A Song to Drown Rivers by Anne Liang. The second is Polis, A New History of the Ancient Greek City-State from the Early Iron Age to the End of Antiquity by John Ma. And the third is The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. I am taking part in the Read What You Own challenge, and although I haven't done well at all reading books from my bookshelves, I've just read 1 digital book. I have done well not buying new books. I do have some exceptions. I'm going to keep getting book boxes that I get. There's a couple, Arcane Society and Bell book boxes. I'm going to continue those. And I am getting books if I can't get them on Libby or Hoopla for book clubs, but I have succeeded in that regard, so there isn't many new books that I've gotten because I haven't, as I said, I haven't gone beyond the rules that I established, the exceptions I established. But the books I showed are 3 books that I've gotten that I haven't read yet, that I got recently that I haven't read yet. The fourth prompt is a book that you've had forever but haven't read yet. About 3 years ago, I did a big unhaul of books. So I don't have too many books from before then. And even earlier than that, I did another unhaul. So I don't usually go way back for too many books, but I did find an ebook, one of the two books I'm going to mention. And that is called Carpathian, Event Group Series number 8 by David L. Goleman. I actually read a little bit of that a while ago, but I didn't get too far in it. It's probably I probably got the book, I think, in 2018. Might have been 2019. So that's a few years ago. And I have another book. Again, this only partially qualifies for this. It's called Alice in Zombieland by Gina Showalter. This book came out in 2012. I'm not quite sure when I got it, but I have read part of it. And this was a book that when I did that on Hall in 2021 that I talked about, this was on the top one in the bags, and it stuck in my mind. And for some reason, I just decided to not get rid of it. And I'm glad I did. Like I said, I read some of it, and I did enjoy it. That's just how I read. I put it aside. So both these books I talked about, I've read a little bit of them. But I didn't complete them, so they sort of comply with this question. The fifth prompt is a book a friend recommended that you haven't read. I started a while back keeping an Excel spreadsheet of booktuber suggestions, books that booktubers talked about that they liked, and I thought I might want to read at some point. And not every booktuber would I consider a friend, but some I do. So going back to the beginning of this, the first friend I come upon is Nix at Nix Reads, and she recommended, or she must have talked positively about it. I don't know specifically use the term recommendation, but she talked positively about this book, and that got me interested in it. And that's A Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. And Tia Chu also recommended that book at a later date. So there's a couple of recommendations I got for that book. I have not got the book. I know it's a Greek myth retelling, but that's the earliest on my spreadsheet. I can't think of like a friend that specifically said to me, you might enjoy this book in a face-to-face meeting. So we're going to go with that one. The sixth prompt is a book you're procrastinating on. I always have the same answer for this question or a similar question, and that is Say My Name by Chanel Miller, which I do have a physical copy somewhere, but I'm not particularly organized, so I don't know where it is. Chanel Miller was the victim in a infamous, perhaps I should say, famous is probably the wrong word to use, infamous essay case. She was essayed by a Stanford swimmer by the name of Brock Turner. He was convicted, but he got an infuriatingly short sentence of, I think, 3-4 months because the judge said he shouldn't have to waste his life or some BS like that. And I know it's going to be a really difficult one to read, so that's the one that I want to read it, but I need to be in the right frame of mind, and I just need to commit to do it. And I should. I just know I'm going to learn some stuff that maybe is going to be difficult. Partly that is that sometimes I find that I'm naive about certain things, that they're better than they thought. And I thought in the cases of essay that the courts and lawyers and everything were better, but I think they're probably just as bad as they ever were. The seventh prompt is the next book on your TBR. On my Storygraph, on my next up list, the top book is Final Girls by Riley Sager. This is a book that I had borrowed from Libby, and I didn't get too far in it. It's one that had been on a whole list for a long time, and the whole finally came through, but it was just a period of time when I wasn't able to get very far on it. I did put a second hold on Final Girls, so if it comes through, hopefully I read it. in the 21 days they give me. More likely, though, the second book on my up next list is more likely for me to read, and that is The Half of It by Madison Beer. For one thing, I have the book, so that's really the most likely book on my TBR that I'm likely to read. And the 8th prompt is tag some people. First, I'm going to say, if you're watching this video, please consider yourself tagged. If you'd like to do this video, if you like to do this tag, whether in a video of your own or one of the more prompts in my comments, please do so. I'd be interested in doing it. If you do your own video, please tag me so I can take a look at it. But I am going to tag some people specifically. I'm tagging Nigel at Reading Ideas-UZ9XK, John at Disquiet and Dragons-LH3ZM, Nix at Nix Reads, Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, Phillip Hall at A Poet Reads to Write, Smiti at Books Smitten, Kayla V at Reading with Kayla V, Justin at Trumple Reads, Milena at Milena Milano 8833, Fred at Read by Fred, Roy at Roy Reads Anything, Jen at Literary Love 123, Flossy at the Grape Jelly Library, Maeve at Maeve_ever_books, Gavin at Genre Books 23, Nicole at Nicole's Bookish Nook, and Cliff at Cliff's Dark Gems. And apologies if I tag somebody who's already done this. I think it was a little while back when Pat, Suey, and Reney kindly tagged me on this, so it's possible people on this list have done it, and I don't really recall because it would have been a while back when I watched their video. And as always, just if you want to do the video, I know some people in the when they're considering their 2025, they're kind of deciding what they want to do as far as balancing with videos, and I know I've seen some people saying that they might not do as many tags. So if you don't want me to tag you, please let me know. I don't want to put unnecessary notifications in your, I guess you call it YouTube inbox. It's really not that, but as always, me tagging you is not me having any expectation that you're going to do the tag. It's just if you like to. I like doing tags. They make me think. They're kind of challenging. And they give me a second video per week too, because I don't always have an idea for a second video beyond the weekly wrap-ups. For those who celebrated Christmas, I hope it was a great one. For those who didn't, I hope you found some joy in the day. I hope you're having a wonderful reading week, and I hope you're having a wonderful week in general. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, please subscribe, please hit the bell to get notified when I upload future videos.